Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sirajul Faizi. I welcome you in my YouTube channel. Today in this video, I am going to talk about air pollution. So let us start from introductions. My friend, air is essential for life itself. Without it, we could survive only a few minutes. It constitutes immediate physical environment of living organism. The atmosphere is layered into four distinct, which are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. This four layer you should be keep in your mind. Now, normal components of our atmosphere: nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, everything else. Noble gases: xenon, argon, helium, krypton, methane, sulfur dioxide. This is are the components of these are the component of our atmosphere. So what is air pollution? Air pollution consists of gases, liquids, solid present in the atmosphere in high enough level to harm humans and other organisms or materials. So may be defined as any atmospheric condition in which certain substances are present in such concentration that they can produce undesirable effect on the man and his environment. Any visible or invisible particle or gas found in the air that is not part of the original normal compositions. So what is air pollution? Air pollutants may be either emitted into the atmosphere or formed within the atmosphere itself. Primary air pollutants, sources such as factory chimney or exhaust pipe. Secondary air pollutants like ozone. So source of primary air pollutants: transportation, fuel combustions, and miscellaneous. Of course, industries. The main sources of air pollutants are automobiles. Motor vehicles are a major source of air pollution throughout the urban areas. They emit hydrocarbons, carbon monoxide, lead nitrogen oxide, and particulate matter. In a strong sunlight, certain of these hydrocarbons in oxide of nitrogen may be converted into atmosphere into photochemical and pollutants of the oxidizing nature. So, in addition, diesel engine, when misused or badly adjusted, are capable of emitting black smoke and malodorous fumes. So, industries, combustions of fuel to generate heat and power produce smoke, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and fly ash. My friend, petrochemical industries, it is a very big problematic, generates hydrogen fluoride, hydrochloric acid, and organic halides. So many industries discharge carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, ozone, hydrogen sulfide, and sulfur dioxide. And industries discharge their waste from high chimney at high temperature and high speed. So domestic sources. Domestic combustion of coal, wool, or oil is a major source of smoke, dust, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxide. Tobacco smoke, the most direct and important source of air pollutions affecting the health of many people. Even those who do not smoke may inhale the smoke produced by others. So, miscellaneous, these comprise burning or refuse incinerators and pesticide spraying natural source. So burn dust, fungi, molds, bacteria, and nuclear energy programs, all these contribute to air pollution. Now, although the Earth's atmosphere extends to several layers above the surface, it is only the first 30 kilometers that hold the major portion of the atmospheric gases. Man is most directly concerned with only the 8 to 10 kilometer of the atmosphere. The level of atmospheric pollution at any one time depends so upon meteorological factors, example topography, air movements, and climate. This is also very important, my friends. Winds help in the dispersal and dilution of pollutants. So if the topography is dominated by the mountains or tall building, the winds become weak and calm, and the pollutants tend to concentrate in the breathing zone. So the verified diffusion of pollutants depends upon the temperature gradient. When there is a rapid cooling of lower layer of air, temperature inversion, there is little vertical motion and the pollutants or water vapor remain trapped at the lower levels and the result is smoke. You know, my friend, the temperature. What is temperature here? The temperature inversion, which is more frequent in the winter months than in the spring or summer, is a threat to human health. So, five major pollutants: carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, particulate matter, and ground level ozone. I repeat: carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, particulate matter, ground level ozone. So, carbon monoxide. It is colorless, odorless gas, a product of incomplete combustion of carbon containing materials such as in automobiles, industrial process, heating facilities, and incinerators. Some widespread natural, non-biological, and biological sources have also been identified. Concentration in urban areas depends on weather and traffic density. So, if it causes harmful effect by reducing oxygen delivery to body uh, organs in extremely high level, it can cause death. You know, the carbon monoxide affinity for hemoglobin is 240 to 270 times greater than oxygen, and fatal HB hemoglobin has highly affinity for CO. So it compete with the CO2 to bind inversely with hemoglobin. So by this exposure to it, reduce the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood to the heart, brain, and other organs. Deprive body of O2, causing headaches, fatigues, MI in impaired vision. Now sulfur dioxide. You know, it is one of the several forms in which sulfur exists in air. The other include H2S, H2SO4, and sulfate salt. Sulfur dioxide results from the combustions of sulfur containing fossil fuel and when the coal and fuel oil are burned. Domestic fires can also produce emissions containing sulfur dioxide. Acid aerosol sulfuric acid is a strong acid which is formed from the reactions of sulfur dioxide gas with water. Now nitrogen dioxide. You know, the nitric oxide is produced by combustion. Nitrogen dioxide, which has greatly health effect, it is secondary pollutants created by the oxidations of NO under conditions of sunlight or may be formed directly by the higher temperature. So combustion in power plants or indoor or from gas stoves. So nitrogen dioxide, you know, reddish brown gas present in car exhaust and power plants. Level of the exposure to nitrogen dioxide that should not be exceed according to WHO guidelines level are respectively 400 microgram per cubic meter. So particulate matter. What is particulate matter? Represent a complex mixture of organic and inorganic substance. Mass and compositions tend to divide into two principal groups: coarse particles larger than 2.5 micrometer in aerodynamics diameter and fine particles smaller than 2.5 micrometer in the aerodynamics diameter. The smaller particles contain the secondary formed aerosols, combustions particles, and recombinant organic and metal vapors. So large particles usually contains earth, crystals, materials, and fugitive dust from roads and industries. So particulate matter of despicable size may be emitted from a number of sources, and some of them natural like dust storm and many others that are more widespread and more important: power plants and industrial process, domestic coal burning, and industrial incinerators. Now, ground level ozones. This is formed when the pollutants such as nitrogen oxide and voltaic organic compounds react in sunlight. You know, high level can cause breathing problems, reduce lungs function, and trigger asthma symptoms. Ground level ozones can also seriously damage crops and vegetation. Ozone is a powerful greenhouse gas and contributes to global warming both directly and by reducing carbon uptake by vegetation. So, ground level ozones, WHO guidelines are 150 to 200 microgram per cubic meter. So, these five together form a smog, a smog, a smog, SMOG, smog. So, what is a smog? A smog is made up of mixture of those pollutants in the atmosphere. Combinations of word smoke and fog. Combination of word smoke and fog. There are two types: reducing smoke characterized by sulfur dioxide and particulates, and photochemical smoke characterized by ozone and other oxidants. So first smoke related death were in London in 1873, death of 500 people. So limit visibility, decrease UV radiation, yellow-black color over cities, cause respiration problems and bronchial related deaths. You can see the situations. Other pollutants, carbon dioxide. This is not commonly regarded as an air pollutant, although many generates enormous amount of its combustion process using coal, oil and gas. Carbon dioxide is a natural constituent of the air. It does not take part in any significant chemical reaction with other substances in the air. However, its global concentration is rising above the natural level by an amount that could increase global temperature enough to affect the climate. Now, volatile organic compounds. Volatile organic compounds are divided into the separate categories of methane and non-methane. So methane is an extremely efficient greenhouse gas which contributes to enhance global warming. And non-methane, the aromatic compound benzene, toluene, xylene are suspended carcinogens and may lead to leukemia through prolonged exposures. So polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons are large group of organic compounds with two or more benzene rings. They are formed mainly as a result of pyrolytic process, especially the incomplete combustions of organic material, as well as in natural process such as carbonization. And there are about 500 polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbon in the air, and the best known is BAP. So, average total BAP content in the steam smoke of one cigarette was 35 nanogram before 1960. The concentration of BAP in a room temperature pollutant with the cigarette smoke can be 22 nanogram per cubic meter. In the past, chimney sweeps and tar workers were dermally exposed to substantially amounts of FA, and there is a sufficient evidence that skin cancer in many of these workers was caused by FA. So, epidemiological studies in coke oven worker, coal gas workers, and employee in aluminum production plants provide sufficient evidence of the role of FA in the induction of lungs cancer. Owing to the carcinogenic, no safe level of FA can be recommended. So toxic metals like lead, cadmium, copper, those metals are produced from different factories and can have immediate health effect and long-term effect on human health. Now, other chlorofluorocarbons and peroxyacetyl nitrate, PAN, peroxyacetyl nitrate. So monitoring of air pollution, how you will monitor? You can see the situations. So the best indicator of air pollutions are sulfur dioxide, smoke and suspended particles. A known volume of air is filtered through a white filter paper under specific conditions, and the stain is measured by photoelectric meter. So a smoke concentration is estimated and expressed as microorganism cubic meter of air as average level over a period of time. So the best indicator of air pollutions are sulfur dioxide. Now, grit and dust measurements. Deposits gauze called grit, dust and other solid, and they are analyzed monthly. Coefficient of haze. a factor used particularly in the USA in the assessing the amount of smoke on other aerosols in air. So AQI, Air Quality Index, AQI, indicates whether pollutants level in air may cause health concern or not. So air pollutions can be divided into indoor air pollution and outdoor pollutions. Indoor air pollution, you can see different activity of women. Indoor air pollution is one of the most critical global environmental problems. Probably exposes more people worldwide to important air pollutants than does pollution in. And outdoor air, rural peoples in developing countries may receive as much as two-thirds of global exposure to particulates. Around 3 billion people still cook and heat their homes using solid fuels in open fire and leaky stoves. About 2.7 billion burn biomass, wood, animal dung, crop waste, and further 0.4 billion use coal. And such cooking and heating produces high level of air pollution with a range of health damaging pollution. So, in poorly ventilated dwelling, indoor smoke can be 100 times higher than acceptable level for small particles. Exposure is particularly high among women and young children who spend most time near the domestic health. So, pollutants and source respirable particles, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, and formaldehyde, particle board, carpet, adhesive, insulator. This is the source. You can see the pollutants and source. So, smoky cooking fuels. Open fire cooking stove produce heavy smoke containing fine particle carbon monoxide, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. So carbon monoxide source gas, kerosene, wood, stove, coal, fires, fireplace, furnaces, leaking chimney and vents, room and water heaters, vehicle exhaust in closed garage, tobacco smoke. So secondly, tobacco, the smoking children whose mother smoke, 70% more respiratory pollen, pneumonia and hospitalization in year. The infant mortality 80%. 20% of all infant death could be avoided if all pregnant stop smoking. 5 times higher risk of sudden infant death syndrome. So another important point is pesticides. Spraying pesticide at home or school, higher concentration near the floor, persistence in some surfaces, carpets, soft toys, overuse and misuse. The children behavior and inhalation of pesticide, crabbling, playing close to the floor, push toys, hand to mouth, and object to mouth. So mosquito coils, you can see the household use in the Africa, Asia, South America, in India, major active ingredient pyrethrin, pyrethrins. You see, long-term exposure linked to asthma and wheezing. Solvent and volatile organic compounds, alkanes and aromatic hydrocarbons, alcohols, aldehydes, ketones. Sources: solvent, fabric softener, and cleaning product, paint, gloves, waxes, and polishing material, spray, propellants, dry cleaning fluids, and paints and markers, binders, and plasticizer, cosmetic, hair sprays, perfumes. So, biological pollutions. Biological pollutions are animals, dander, dust, mite, molds, infected agents, source of biological agent like water damage, humidifier, water vapor from cooking and showing, air conditioning system, mattresses, upholstered furniture, and carpets. Adverse effect of the indoor air pollution in the health: acute irritations of the mucous membrane, cough, wheeze, chest tightness, increased air responsiveness to the allergens, increased incidence of acute respiratory illness, cold, pneumonia, otitis media, like this. So chronic long-term exposure decreased lung growth, impairment of the pulmonary functions, increased susceptibility to chronic obstructive lung disease, including asthma. You see the outdoor air pollutions. So outdoor air pollution means what? You can see worldwide it is estimated that 1.3 million people, more than half of them in developing countries, die every year from urban outdoor air pollution. Urban outdoor air pollution is a major environmental health problem affecting people in both the developed and developing countries. So major air pollutants and their effect: ozones, particulate matter, nitrogen dioxide, NOx, sulfur dioxide, acid rain, from the precipitation that contains high level of sulfuric and nitric acid can contaminate drinking water and vegetation, damage aquatic life and erode buildings. So health aspect and social economics aspects. Health aspect, you can see big problems. Health aspects. Social and economic aspect, this comprises destructions of the plants and animal life, corrosion of the metals, damage to the building, cost of cleaning and maintenance and repair, and aesthetic nuisance. Air pollution also reduces visibility in towns. It can soil and damage clothing. Now, control of air pollution. How you will control? Control and prevention of air pollution. WHO has recommended the following procedure for the prevention and control of air pollution. Like eliminate or control the source of pollution, improve stoves, clean fuels, venting stove for cooking and heating, regular maintenance of cooking, heating and cooling systems. So ventilation, building design, air cleaning, educations and advocacy, environmental policy maker, contaminants, control of outdoor air, replacement, dilutions, green belts, legislation. You see the smallest zone, ozone hole. The term ozone hole refer to annual thinning of the ozone layer observed yearly over the South Pole areas. Montreal Protocol. Friends, if you like this video, then subscribe my channel, and thanks for watching.